together. And this is what a communication network is. At least this is what it looks like when I draw it with pictures. But what we're normally going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at wiring diagrams, and this is what we have to break down. So let's look at it from the earliest wiring diagrams. Now, this is beautiful. This is what I started looking at when I first started working on cars. Simple networks like this. And we had our DLC here, but it may have actually been an ALDL for those of you who remember, or maybe a diagnostic port, but it was just simple, one wire networks. And some of these still exist, but this was the whole network. It was the PCM talking to maybe one or two other modules. And ABS was, if you had the option, you had ABS. That was actually an option back then. And it was just one wire. So there's really nothing to break down here. So we didn't really worry about it too much. But that didn't last too long, did it? We very, very quickly, we got into stuff like this. And this is a more modern network that we have today. Not the most modern network, but this is just a simple picture of what it might look like. And now you can see you have 3 separate networks within one big network. And the thing about all these networks is not only are they all communicating at different speeds and different voltages and things like that, they're also all still communicating together. And now we have things like gateway modules. Now, if you think about it like languages, let's say this red network is speaking one language, this green network is speaking some language, and this blue network is speaking some language. Well, the gateway module is the interpreter that lets all these languages talk to each other so that it creates one big network. So essentially, now this is broken down from a big network to 3 smaller networks. So this is how we have to diagnose it. And it gets even more complicated than that when you look at it like this. And you're thinking, this is CAN bus communication. Does this really matter? Well, when you're looking at this one right here, well, this is CAN bus. And guess what? This is CAN bus too. So now when we're diagnosing CAN, we're not just diagnosing one CAN anymore. So we have to know which CAN we're diagnosing. What network do we have to find? And this, this could be a low-speed CAN. And all 3 of these networks might speak at different voltages and different languages and different speeds. But before we get that far, we have to figure out what network we're looking at. And what else do you notice about this? Let me get my John Madden stuff out of the way here. Look at this DLC. It's not connected to any networks anymore. It's connected right to that gateway module. So if we test from the DLC, are we going to test any of these networks anymore? No. If we take our multimeter and we do our old true test of powering down the network, this is what we always used to do on CAN, right? We'd power down the network. We'd take our multimeter on resistance, and we would go to the DLC. We measure at 6 and 14, and we'd look for 60 ohms. Can we do this anymore? No, we can't. Can we get our scope out and look for a pattern here anymore? No, because we're only going to the gateway module. So what's the first step we have to do? We have to break